Good morning everyone. I am Kalpana Kutti from PG and Research Department of Commerce, Arulmigu Palaniyandavar Arts College for Women, Palani. A warm welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to see some terminologies of marginal costing. First, what is marginal cost? Marginal cost is the cost of one more or one less unit produced besides existing level of production. Then what is marginal costing? I gave one definition given by ICMA that defines marginal costing is the ascertainment by differentiating between fixed and variable cost of marginal cost and of the effect on profit of changes in the volume and type of output. Then let's go to the terminologies. The first terminology is contribution. Contribution is the excess of selling price over variable cost. The formula for contribution is sales minus variable cost. The second terminology is profit volume ratio. In short, PV ratio. What is PV ratio? When the contribution from sales is expressed as a percentage of sales value, it is known as PV ratio. The PV ratio is calculated from the formula contribution divided by sales into 100. We see contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost. So, the another formula for PV ratio is sales minus variable cost divided by sales into 100. The third terminology is break-even point. Break-even point is the point at which total revenue is equal to total cost. Then see, in this picture you can see AO is a income line and BC is a cost line. At the level of Q output, the income line and the cost line intersects at the point of P. So the point P mentions at the level of Q output, income from the output Q and the cost for the output Q is equal. So P is the break-even point. The formula for break-even point is fixed cost divided by selling price minus variable cost, or fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. It is for units. Then what is for rupees? So BEP is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, or fixed cost divided by PV ratio. The other terminology is profit. Profit is the excess of contribution over fixed cost. Then what is the formula for profit? Profit is equal to contribution minus fixed cost. Then the last one is MOS. MOS abbreviation is margin of safety. It is the excess of present sales value over the break-even sales. The formula for MOS is profit divided by PV ratio, or actual sales minus break-even sales, or actual sales minus break-even sales for units. Then let's see a problem. The question is, following is the data of Kedari Enterprises for the month of December 2009. They sold 2000 units of tablecloths in December. selling price per unit is rupees 10 and variable cost is rupees 10,000. Fixed cost is rupees 6,000. First we are going to calculate sales. What is the formula for sales? Here we see they sold 2000 units and they give the selling price per unit is rupees 10. The sales value is equal to number of units sold into selling price per unit. Then 2000 into 10, rupees 20,000 is the sales value. Then let's see the first terminology, contribution. For contribution, formula is sales minus variable cost. Before that we calculate sales value, it is 20,000 and the variable cost value is 10,000. Then contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost, 20,000 minus 10,000. Contribution is equal to rupees 10,000. Okay, the second terminology, PV ratio. What is the formula for PV ratio? Contribution divided by sales into 100. Contribution is 10,000 and the sales is 20,000. So 10,000 divided by 20,000 into 100. By this we can get 50% of PV ratio. Okay, the third terminology is profit. For profit, what is the formula? Contribution minus fixed cost. Okay, contribution is 10,000 and the fixed cost given in the problem is 6,000. So contribution 10,000, fixed cost 6,000. Profit is equal to 10,000 minus 6,000, rupees 4,000. And the fourth terminology is break even point. For the break even point, we have fixed cost and PV ratio. Okay, what is fixed cost? 6,000 and the PV ratio we calculated is 50%. By this we can get rupees 12,000 as a break even point. Then the fifth is margin of safety. Margin of safety is equal to profit divided by PV ratio. Profit is 4,000 and the PV ratio we calculated is 50%. By this we can get margin of safety is rupees 8,000. Okay. From this session you all get a better idea of some terminologies of marginal costing. Thank you all.